let's tell you about a story that is a curious case of a chartered flight that took off for an alleged business trip to Bangkok and got diverted, landed in Pune and in political hot waters eventually. It all started after Pune police received an anonymous call that former Maharashtra minister Tanaji Sawant's son Rishi Raj was taken away by some unidentified persons. Police swiftly registered a kidnapping case as panicked Tanaji Sawant went on to address media and say that my son might have been kidnapped. He also went to the police commissioner's office for help. The subsequent investigation although showed that Rishi Raj had booked a chartered flight to Bangkok. The flight was asked to return to Pune International Airport eventually on the instructions of the Civil Aviation Department when it was flying over Port Blair in Andaman and Nicobar. And it was this high-level involvement that is now raising opposition's hackles. But before we get into that, let's trace the flight map of this controversy. Now, it all started on the 9th of February when Rishi Raj Sawant, who's the son of a former Maharashtra minister, decided to book a chartered flight. He was also accompanied by two of his friends. He had booked a flight for 3 people to Bangkok. Now, how much did he spend for this? He spent 68 lakh rupees to book this chartered flight. The next day, on the 10th of February, at around 4:30 in this evening, the chartered flight took off from Pune. In half an hour since then, there was a missing report that had been filed by the family. Why did they do so? Because they were worried. The father went on to say that this never has happened before, that their child has decided to leave without informing the family, which is why they thought that it could have been a case of kidnapping. Now, this man, remember, happens to be a former Maharashtra minister. So obviously, he has access to topmost offices. He looped in the Civil Aviation Ministry and the police commissioner, we already told you, he spoke to. After all those were involved, the ATC was told at around 6:30. Remember, this is around 2 hours since the flight took off, to redirect the plane back to India. This is not something that happens normally. It is only in case of an emergency or some technical snag that flights are rerouted. And we are also learning that the agency that had chartered out this aircraft also had some reservations, but because, and they also insist that they did all the background checks and the information had come from the Ministry of Civil Aviation itself, they decided to go ahead with rerouting this aircraft. At 6:35 p.m. is when this flight was rerouted. The route was changed. However, the catch here is that Rishi Raj was not informed about it. How would they not know, you ask? Because the screen that you see generally in front of you in the aircraft, where all the information is displayed about the flight route and all, they were switched off. So what happened next? At 8:45 p.m., when the flight eventually landed back at Pune Airport, Rishi Raj was in for a surprise. He also fought with the officials. He yelled at the pilots as well, only to be told what had happened. Now, where comes the politics? The swiftness with which Rishi Raj's chartered flight was traced and made to return to Pune mid-air has raised several questions. The dramatic mid-air interception of a private charter flight has also raised opposition's hackles. They are alleging political influence and violation of emergency aviation protocols.
All I'd like to tell the Binde Sena is this. Before indulging in character assassination of women politicians, women leaders from the opposition, they need to look within what is happening in their own families. It was registered as a kidnapping. Then they realized he's taken a chartered flight to, of all the places, Bangkok. And Bangkok is a city which the BJP seems to have a problem with, right? They keep bringing up Bangkok all the time. So that's a question for Tanaji Sawant and his family to answer, that before they indulge in character assassination of other women, they need to look within what they are indulging in.
My colleagues Rucha and Arpita will be joining us. Rucha, coming to you first. So, we know of the war of versions here. The father said he was just a concerned father. He was acting like one because he was worried about his son's safety. Son said that he was scared of his family, and which is why he decided to leave without informing them. But it involves a lot of procedures being allegedly violated. Do we see any action happening?
Well, as of now, Tanaji Sawant, who's the former health minister of Maharashtra, has told the authorities to stop investigation in this matter because his son Rishiraj Sawant is now back home. Initially, he had filed a police complaint, missing report with Sinhagad Road police station because they were unable to track where his son Rishiraj has gone. They were trying for hours to contact him. His phone was switched off, and day before he had an argument with his wife as well as with Tanaji Sawant for opposing his decision to go to Bangkok. 10 days before he went to Bangkok, he tried to go to Bangkok. He had already traveled to Dubai, which is why the family was against him going to Bangkok again. And everyone has raised their eyebrows after hearing about the amount that he had spent. He spent almost 68 lakh rupees just for one travel from Pune to Bangkok for this journey. He had booked a chartered plane by spending this money, and with the help of a company named Global Passengers Manifest, he had booked a flight, and nobody was aware where he was traveling except his friends and the driver of the family. He was accompanied by two friends. There were 6 people on board. Two were the friends of Rishiraj. One was Rishiraj, and the 3 others were the crew of the flight. Now, after the report was initially reported about a missing person. It later got converted to kidnapping case because the Pune police, Sinhagad Road police, received a suspicious call saying that the son of Tanaji Sawant is being kidnapped, and the investigation was going on. Meanwhile, the driver of Tanaji family had called Tanaji Sawant and informed that he is not kidnapped. He is traveling abroad. He is on board in a flight going towards Bangkok, which is when the entire Sawant family got to know about his whereabouts, and with using his contacts, Tanaji Sawant first tried to reach out to Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister, and it later led to the Union Aviation Department. The Union Civil Aviation Minister Muralidhar Mohol was contacted. Muralidhar Mohol himself is from Pune, and he gave instructions to the air traffic control, and they later told the ATC to change the directions where the plane was going. And meanwhile, the staff on board, the pilots, were told not to let Rishiraj know where this plane is going. He was thinking that when the plane will land, he will be at Bangkok.
Yes.
But after coming back to Pune,
and now the family has requested for the cops to stop investigation because, as it turned out, it was all just a hoax when the father went and complained of a kidnapping. But let's listen in to what the brother of Rishiraj has to say about this entire sequence of events.
3-3:30ला त्याचा मेसेज आला आणि त्यानंतर त्याचा फोन ट्रेस होत नव्हता आणि फोन लागतही नव्हता. त्यामुळे सर्व आम्ही घरचे चिंतेत पडलो आणि कुठंच काही सापडत नसल्यानं अर्जाचा आम्ही तपास घेतला. कुणालाच कुठं काही सापडत नाही म्हणून आम्ही सिंहगड पोलीस स्टेशनला FIR केला. 10 दिवसाखालीच तो दुबईला गेला. दुबईला जाऊन आल्याच्या नंतर त्याला बिझनेसच्या रिलेटेड बँकॉकला जायचं होतं आणि त्या दृष्टिकोनातून तो बँकॉकला सोडणार नाहीत घरचे लगेच दुबईला जाऊन आल्यामुळे. त्यासाठी त्यांनी प्रायव्हेट फ्लाईट करून तो बँकॉकच्या दिशेने गेलता. पण ह्या गोष्टीची कुठलीही कानोखबर आम्हाला नसताना आम्ही सगळे घरचे थोडेसे इमोशनली हायपर झाले म्हणून आम्ही आपल्या सिंहगड पोलीस स्टेशनला FIR फाडला. कोणी कुठं जात असताना एकमेकाला सांगून जात असतो, त्यामुळे आम्हाला थोडं भीतीचं वातावरण होतं म्हणून आम्ही अपहरणाचा किडनॅपिंगचा गुन्हा त्या ठिकाणी दाखल केला.
It is their family matter. Second is that if in other cases, do the police act so promptly? How they acted so promptly? And third is that it's a violation of everything. He has filed a case of missing, and there FIR should be lodged against the son as well as the father. To misuse the power, to misuse the entire police force for their internal dispute, of the family dispute.
Richa, what about the politics around this matter? Have we heard anything from the party of Tanaji Sawant?
Well, Tanaji Sawant himself had come out to media and he had shared that what the incident was, how he had argument with his son, and later his son tried to travel abroad.
Yes,
None of the others.
I was specifically referring to the political allegations of how there could have been alleged extra promptness, as is being alleged by the opposition parties in this case, something, the alacrity that is generally found missing when it is police involved in other such complaints.
The opposition party leaders have targeted Tanaji Sawant for misusing the authorities. They are also saying that the amount of money that was spent, they are targeting that. Also, they are focusing on how the immediate action was taken, how the emergency landing has happened. This does not happen in regular cases, but this was a